I wanna be with you always.
Hey you guys, it's Heidi and welcome back to another episode of Baby Name Sunday. So for those of you who are new, every single Sunday I upload a baby names list. Today I am doing my favorite girls' names from A all the way to Z. So I'll have 26 with a couple extra girls' names for you guys to share that I have been absolutely loving. Every single one of these names are new ones that I have not listed on any of my previous videos. So stoked to share them with you guys. So make sure you guys are subscribed and make sure you guys are hitting that bell notification down below so you guys don't miss any of my baby name videos. And make sure you guys are following me on my baby name Instagram account as well as our family Instagram account, and I'll have them linked right here and also linked in the description. All right, so for the letter A, first on the list I have is the name Alaska. So spelled A-L-A-S-K-A. Honestly, I have been in love with this name and I feel like it is kind of on the trend to be more popular recently just because I've been seeing it a little bit more frequently. I feel like it's one of those place-inspired names that are definitely almost overlooked in a way. I feel like everybody looks at all the states but kind of forgets Alaska because it's way up by us. It kind of reminds me of this fresh, crisp air, the mountains, the scenery. It just is such a beautiful, beautiful state. So there's a little place-inspired name that is totally overlooked but needs to be used. And now moving on to my current favorite B name right now is the name Bronte. So spelled B-R-O-N-T-E. And the E has those two little dots on the top. I forgot what it's called, but this one I have been absolutely loving as well. It sounds very powerful to me. It sounds very tomboyish, a little bit edgy, and that's exactly why I've been loving it. And it totally makes sense as to why I feel like it sounds powerful, is that it's actually a Greek originated name meaning thunder, but it's also a Gaelic name meaning bestower, someone who is very giving, and I absolutely love the balance of that, but with that edgy sound to it, which is totally up my alley. All right, so for D, this one has been kind of in the back of my mind for like years. I don't know, I've been just loving it for a little girl. I feel like majority of the time it's used for a boy, but I would totally, obviously, use this for a little baby girl, and that is the name Dewy. So spelled D-E-W-I is the way that I would spell it, but there is a couple different ways, obviously, you could spell it, like the dew outside or like that morning mist, and that's exactly what I kind of had in mind. It's very nature inspired, which is totally up my alley, but again, it has that really sweet dewy. I love the W in it. It has like this cutesy ring to it. Plus just the smell of the dewy morning grass is just so, I love the smell of it. And that's why I picked Dewy for the letter D. For the letter E, I could not pick between these two names. One of them is a little bit more up and coming. The other one I completely made up and I had to add it to the list because I'm just loving. So first I have Evermore, so spelled E-V-E-R-M-O-R-E. This one I made up. It kind of reminds me of like forever, forevermore. I don't know, it just has this really pretty ring to it, kind of whimsical feel, and it has Ever, which is obviously really trendy with the Everly name going on right now. And a lot of names, as I said in my previous video, adding more to the end, Evermore, Ellamore, is very up and coming right now. So I have been absolutely loving it. I've been adding it onto everything, and look, Evermore happened and I'm like, wow, love it for an E name. And the other E name that has definitely been up and coming is Echo, so spelled E-C-H-O. This word inspired name has been really poppin', let me tell you, but I have been loving it. It's short, very interesting, but there has been a couple more so girls definitely on Instagram that I've been seeing Echo been populating on those little name signs, and I've just been loving it, and I know a lot of you guys would be loving it as well. So for the letter F, this one's very different and not normally what I would actually use, but I don't know, it's something about it that's making it sound futuristic and really happy sounding, and that is the name Flossie, so spelled F-L-O-S-S-I. I know you could totally spell it F-L-O-S-S-E-Y or I-E. There's a bunch of different ways you could spell this one, but I've just been loving the single I at the end. I think it just makes a little bit more of a futuristic, edgy look to it, with really still keeping what the name is really all about. And Flossie is actually derived from the name Florence, which I was like, okay, it makes sense because Flossie is actually a nickname for people who are named Florence, which is so interesting. And the name Florence means flourishing and prosperous. So very, very powerful meaning behind that for a little girl, with a very happy and like fun-spirited ring to the name. And that's how come Flossie made its way to my favorite F girl's name. So for G, I had actually a little bit of troubles finding an actual G name that I was truly in love with. I was looking and looking and looking, and I'm like, okay, they're not really my cup of tea normally. But then I was like, Heidi, what are you talking about? So my favorite G girl's name right now is the name Golden, so spelled Golden. Looking at more of those vintage style names and coming back, Goldie is a total vintage, old-fashioned name, and it's really making its light in the past year or so. But Golden, guys, so unique, and I feel like this one's very unisex, but Golden for a little girl I think would be so perfect. It sounds like a very pure name, and it just gives me this positive omen around the name, and that's what drew me to it. And you could totally nickname her Goldie, and there you go. You have Golden and Goldie. You can use both of them. All right, so for H was, I could think of a billion different names for H. Heidi. But I'm trying to think, okay, what are some of my favorites right now? So first I'm gonna tell you a guilty pleasure name of mine that I've absolutely loved, honestly, for forever, and that is the name Hayden, spelled Hayden. I have just absolutely loved this name for forever. I think it is so cool, boy or a girl. I think it kind of had its peak back in like 2013, 2014, but then it kind of plateaued. Kind of reminds me of Haven. I feel like more people have been driven more towards Haven right now and kind of forgotten about Hayden. So Hayden's actually an English originated name, and it's kind of nature inspired. It means heather grown hill. And then also for H, I have Hermione. Oh my goodness gracious. I am such a big Harry Potter fan, and Hermione has obviously been with me throughout the whole entire series. Honestly, love her character, and I love her name. I think it sounds so interesting, and it's actually a Greek originated name meaning messenger and earthly. So it is a nature inspired name as well that is definitely overlooked, just like Hayden, but I feel like obviously Hayden is a little bit more popular. So I wanted to add one that was a little bit more unique as well, and I really couldn't pick between the two. So there you go, Hayden and Hermione for the letter H. So as soon as I was looking for I names, all I had in my mind was the name Irie, I-R-I-E, but I did already mention that in my previous girl's name video, but I wanted to mention something new that I've been absolutely loving as well, and that is the name Ines, so spelled I-N-E-S or I-N-E-Z. So it's actually a Spanish variation of the word pure. When I was younger in high school, I used to work at a skate shop, and one of the main skate brands was Ines, and I have always, as soon as I saw that name, I was like, wow, that's a really cool name. It reminds me of this cool little like tomboy like skater girl, and that's exactly why I had to add it. It's been on my mind for forever. I've just absolutely loved it, and it kind of has this little piece of high school with me that kind of brings back memories. But I just realized that in Spanish speaking countries it's a little bit more popular, and it's one of those more cooler four-letter names that definitely has been the top of my list for quite some time. So moving on to J, another one that I was having so much difficulty figuring out what to put. Just can't find any that I absolutely love. But I was posting on my Baby Name Sunday Instagram a name Devereaux, and people were like, oh my gosh, that's one of the twins' names, the twin boy names of the cheaper things for free. The YouTuber, she just had twins. She has a big family. And I was like, what? So I had to go and look, and I took a look, and Devereaux's twin was a little girl, and her name was Joss. So spelled J-O-S-S. And I was like, wow, I love it. I think it is so cool. It reminds me of the name Ross or like Rossi. And as soon as I heard Joss, I'm like, that is so cute. Again, only 4 letters, but I have never heard this name, and that has become my new favorite J girl's name. All right, you guys know how much I love my Japanese names, and I seriously couldn't go through this whole entire list without naming a few. So for the letter K, I have the name Kaori, so spelled K-A-O-R-I. I am loving this name. I think it's so beautiful. Japanese names are actually a family favorite of ours. Davian absolutely loves them because he's obsessed with anime and he finds a lot of them in his anime shows. But Kaori was actually my find and I was loving it. It means fragrance or fragrant in Japanese. I feel like it's so usable and I really like digging into new cultures and seeing what kind of names are very popular or might be not as popular that really need to be made known in the world. I feel like Japanese names are totally in that category and they are always just so beautiful. Okay, this one is adorable and so cute. I've actually mentioned this one a couple times, I feel, on my Instagram, but I haven't actually made a post about it. So for the letter L is the name Lumi, so spelled L-U-M-I. So cutesy. I think it's so adorable and the meaning's so cute. It's snow and it's Finnish. I don't know, it just has this bright kind of aura around it that I absolutely love. Normally I don't go for really girly names and this one I feel like is a little bit more girly sounding that I would more so be drawn to, but it's only 4 letters. It sounds so cute. It means snow and it has a little bit of a Japanese sound to it. So altogether, Lumi made it to my favorite L girl's name. Another amazing one for the letter M is the name Maven. So spelled M-A-V-E-N, and it actually means one who understands. So Maven kind of came about, I was hunting for word names and Maven came about and I'm like, what? Maven? That looks exactly like Haven, which is a very up and coming name right now. So adorable. So I'm like, Maven, that is a perfect alternative if you're loving the name Haven, but you're feeling, you know what, it's kind of trending right now. I want something a little bit more different. Maven would be a totally great option for you. All right, so for the letter N, I have the name Nixie, so spelled N-I-X-I-E. This one has just been giving me all these mythical creature and whimsical vibes, and it makes sense because it's a German originated name meaning water nymph. So it not only has one of my favorite goddess names, Nyx, in it, which could totally be used as a nickname, but it also is a cool little edgy alternative to the name Pixie, which is a little bit too girly for me personally. So Nixie would totally be up my alley, and that's how come I picked it. For the letter O, I have the name Occy, so spelled O-C-C-Y, but it's pronounced like O-C-K-I-E, Occy. I love it. This is more of like a nickname that is a name for me. So cool. Little girl named Occy. I think it really is a head turner. It's definitely out there, but actually means eyes of the wolf. So it has a little bit of nature inspiration behind the name. So again, love nature. Nature's trending. Occy. Please, someone use the name Occy. I think it's so adorable for a little girl. For P, this one is a guilty pleasure. I actually was almost gonna go against all my will and name Zayla this name because it was very trendy back in 2014, 2015 for girls, and that is the name Piper, so spelled P-I-P-E-R. This one, gosh, this one, oh, it's like a love-hate relationship. I like love it so much, but I hate how popular it was when I had Zayla. And that's exactly why I'm like, you know what? At the end, I'm like, I gotta back out. I can't name her Piper because I know this is gonna be that next top 100 name for girls and I just can't. We ended up obviously going with Zayla, which I absolutely love her name, but Piper was like my guilty pleasure and still is my guilty pleasure along with Hayden. Guilty pleasure names that I love, but I feel like it almost had its peak and then now it's kind of like, no, it's gone. Like, where's a Piper? 2015 one-hit wonder and then it's gone. So Piper is my favorite girl's name and probably forever will be for the letter P. Q was really hard to find for me. I was like, you know what do I have that I absolutely love? So I found a name recently, but I'm like, holy, whoa, hold up, I've never heard that before. And that is the name Quora, so spelled Q-U-O-R-R-A. But Quora is actually in apparently one of the characters in the Tron movie, which obviously you guys know me with the Marvel, the DC, I don't know which category Tron is in, I'm sorry. But Quora was actually known, and I was doing a little bit of research, you can tell me if I'm wrong, I might be wrong, but the meaning and kind of depiction of the character was she was considered the miracle. I know Davian's gonna love me for that one. Another letter that I had a lot of difficulties finding is for the letter R. But I'm gonna give you guys one that I made up because this is truly what my favorite R name is right now, and it is very girly. I don't know what came about me, but something happened and I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. And that is the name Ray Noelle. So spelled R-E-Y-N-O-E-L-L-E. And the reason why I created this name is because it has Ray, R-E-Y, which is another way of spelling R-A-Y, which is like a ray of sunshine, and Noel, which is actually French for Christmas. So it's like mixing sunshine, which is like my favorite thing in the world, and Christmas, which is like my favorite holiday in the world. And combined together, we have Ray Noel. And I feel like it almost sounds very goddess-like. Like, look, my hand's up right now. I am just loving it. And moving on to the letter S, we have the name Swayze. So spelled S-W-A-Y-Z-I-E, which is what I would do, or Z-E. Patrick Swayze, you have definitely made your last name an up-and-coming name for girls. Let me know how you guys feel about this one. It has this really fun, quirky, and spunky sound to it. So the name Swayze is actually a German-originated surname, but it's made its light into North America as a last name very prominently, and it actually means Swiss. So Swayze, Swiss, makes sense. Moving on to T. This one is probably in my top 5 names right now that I am in love with. And that is the name Terrwyn. So spelled T-E-R-R-W-Y-N. Yes, it's another name with that win on the end, but has Terra in it, which is another word for earth. This one means fair and brave one, and is of Welsh origin. You can nickname her Terra, Tear, or Win. I love all the nicknames that come from this name, so that's why I've been loving it, and that's why it's my favorite T name for girls. Moving on to my letter U name. This one is a total guilty pleasure of mine, and that is the name Upton. So spelled U-P-T-O-N. Yes, I know, so posh of me, but come on guys, a little girl, if you're wanting, you know, something a little bit more royal, posh sounding, this is it. Upton is English originated, and it means upper town, which makes sense, Upton, upper town, but it was actually the name of an American writer named Upton St. Clair, who made its way into a first name basis way back in the early 1900s. So it has vintage roots to it. I definitely would more so use it for a girl, but you could totally name your little boy Upton as well. Moving on to my favorite V name for a girl, and that is the name Vanadey. So spelled V-A-N-A-D-E-Y. A lot of V names, as soon as I hear V names, I think of Veronica. Love the name, but I think it's very overused for me, and you know, me and unique is like 2 peas in a pod. So Vanadey is actually a Sanskrit name, and it means forest goddess. Vanadey. It's a little bit longer, but I'm really loving it. This one is also made up because a lot of W names that I absolutely love right now are popular. So we have the Winslow, which I've already mentioned, up and coming, Winslet, we have Waverly. I love all those names. This one I made up. I thought it was cool, you know, boy or girl, but I would totally name this for a girl, and that is the name Wyndham. So spelled W-Y-N-D-O-M. I'm obsessed. So I took the name Wyndham, like the boy's name, W-Y-N-D-H-A-M, which means Windy Village, and I kind of put freedom in there with the D-O-M ending. And when I am thinking about this, my symbolism behind the name, I can just picture this little girl standing on top of a hill overlooking a small little village. It's windy, wind's blowing in her hair, and she just has her hands up in the air and she's feeling free. That would be her name. Almost a spiritual name that I made up. I know, it's just all in my head, but that's exactly what Wyndham kind of signifies to me. And then moving on to the letter X, Unisex. This one, I actually have posted it a while back on my Baby Name Sunday Instagram for a post, but that is the name Zyelle, so spelled X-Y-E-L-L-E. So this one I made up, and the XY, Zai, is actually another way of spelling X-I-A, which is actually a Chinese originated name. It's actually the name of a dynasty in China. And then I added L to the name, which means she in French. So this is another name that symbolizes total girl power to me. She'll have a mixture of girl, who she is, she, and then a name of a dynasty, which is royalty to me. So I feel like this is a very womanly, powerful name, but it sounds so beautiful. You can nickname her Elle, you can nickname her Zaya. Elle is so popular, as you guys know, and I think Zyelle just adds this really gorgeous feel to the name. All right, we're down to Y and Z. This Y name, again, really is a really great mix with the name Lumi, but this is the name Eula, so spelled Y-U-L-A. Again, I love these 4-letter, pretty cute sounding names, Lumi and Eula. Like, what a great pairing for maybe some sisters or twins. So Eula is Russian and Latin originated, and it means youthful, but it also has some possible Celtic variants that means gem of the sea. That is just screaming this one-of-a-kind little girl. But I think it doesn't sound too far outside of the box. I feel like it's very usable for everyone, really, and it's not something people would almost be like shy away of because it just sounds overly unique. All right, so we have made it to our very final letter of the alphabet, the beloved Z, or a lot of you guys have said Z. So Z, we are with you now. My girl's name is a little bit more of a girly edge to an already up and coming trendy name, and that is the name Zephyrin, so spelled Z-E-P-H-Y-R-I-N-E. This is kind of like a girly addition and girly variant of the already popular name Zephyr. This guy is trending right now to be that Z name, the Z name. It wants that spot so bad, but it's actually a Greek originated name meaning west winds. It's one of those more unique nature names, and with those Greek roots, Greek names have obviously been really up and coming as well because they have some really interesting and very unique sounding names, but they are so gorgeous, boy or girl. And Zephyrin, I feel like this is a really great alternative or option if you're really loving like Zephyr for a boy, or even for a girl if you're loving it but you feel like it's a little bit too edgy for you. Zephyrin just has this completely different sound to it. It adds that soft end to it without making it so harsh. That's why it's my favorite Z name right now. So hard to pick that one. It was so hard to pick, but I hope you guys liked this. Wow, I feel like I was zooming through those, man. There was a lot. I gave you more than 26 names, probably more closer to 30, so I hope you loved them. Let me know what your favorites were, and maybe if you have the time, write down what your favorite girl names are, A to Z. I wanna know. But thank you guys so much for watching another baby name video. I hope you guys love them. Make sure you guys check out the playlist down below. I have a ton of baby name videos for you guys to binge watch and enjoy during this quarantine time. So take care, I hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you guys this week. Bye!